Good morning, everyone. So, from today onwards, we are going to start geometry in our this YouTube channel, and I would like to teach geometry because we know the current examinations, be it SSC or CDS, and also in other examinations, the weightage of geometry has increased in recent times. So, I think that this video is going to be helpful for those students who are trying to study geometry, and I will try to upload geometry on a regular basis. And if you want to study geometry, then this is the stop for you. So yes, let's get started. So in geometry, in many of the examinations, most of the questions are asked around lines and angles, triangles, we have quadrilaterals. Inside quadrilaterals we have other figures such as squares, rectangles, parallelograms, etc. And also we have polygons, some circles. So we'll be studying about every single one of them one by one. So first in this class, let me just write down what we will study in geometry. In geometry, we will be learning about lines and angles. Then we will move on to triangles. From there we will be switching to quadrilateral, and within quadrilateral we will study parallelogram, rectangles, square, trapezium, and inside parallelogram there is also rhombus, that is a parallelogram with all the sides being equal. And from there on we will move on to study circle, which is a very important topic if we look it from the examination point of view. So in this topic, I would like you guys also to put emphasis on these two topics, that is triangles and circles, because a lot of questions come from these topics. And after once geometry is finished, we will be studying mensuration, and for that I will also be posting the subsequent videos. So don't worry, and just let's start with today's class. So it's coming to the first topic we will be studying in this lecture, that is lines and angles. So before starting lines and angles, we need to first know what lines and angles are. As the name suggests, a line is basically a straight line connecting any 2 points in a space. So if I say that this is a point and this is a point somewhere, and if I want to connect these 2 points, then I will just simply draw a straight line from here to here, that is from A to B. So this is a line. Actually it is a line segment which connects points A and B. So it is a line segment AB. Similarly, if I want to draw a line, it will be an endless line segment. So it keeps going and going and going. This is a line. It does not have any endpoints. As you see, there are 2 arrows on each end, which indicates that it keeps on going. So this is a line and this is a line segment AB. So yes, and what are angles? Angles are, if we talk about angles, then angles are basically the tilt which is created between 2 lines. For example, if I say that I have 2 line segments, let's say, or 2 lines as well, let's say this is one line L1, and here is another line L2, and let's say that they intersect each other at this point O, and then the tilt in this direction which this line L2 creates with respect to L1, this is known as the angle, and it is generally represented by theta. So yes, this is an angle, this is a line, and this is a line segment. So no need to worry much about it. We will be studying about all of them one by one. So yes, first let us study about lines and the different types of lines there are. A line is only of one type, but the different concepts which are asked around examinations based on those lines. So yes, before starting with lines, let us learn about points. What are points? Points or dots are basically a point in space. If we draw any graph, let's say this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis, O as origin, and let's say I want to plot a point 2, 3 in this graph, then I will move on 2 points, that is 1 and 2, along the x-axis, and then 2, 2, let's do it, and then 2 points along the y-axis. So I will move around here, and from here this is 1, this is 2, so I will move on here. So I'll move on around here, and this is my point 2, 2. So point is just a dot which is made on a plane. This is a point and this is a point. So you can also say that it is a circle of 0 radius, but let's just stick to the definition that it is a dot which indicates any position in a plane for 2, 2. Similarly, we can have here 1, 1. Let's say this is 10, then we can have here 2, 10. So these are all points. And in points, there are two types of points, two types of sets of points. We have collinear and non-collinear. What do collinear set of points mean? It means that those points, those set of points which lie on the same line segment, that those points are known as collinear points. Let me write around here. Collinear points. These points are those points which can be drawn on the same line segment, that is, they are connected by the same line segment. Let's say we have any 3 points A, B and C, and whether if we want to say that these points are connected or not, then there must be a straight line which passes through each of these points. Then we say that these A, B, C are collinear. Similarly, for non-collinear, we can say that any 3 points A, B and C are such that they cannot a single line cannot intersect all of these 3 points. That is, if I draw a single line from around here, I cannot bend this line and come and join the point C as well. So they are non-collinear points because I need a minimum of 2 lines to intersect them. Not 2 actually, I need 3 lines that connects them from B to C, A to B, this one, and then A to C. So these are non-collinear points. So yes, collinear are those which lie on a single line, and non-collinear are those which cannot lie on a single line, which do not lie on a single line and cannot be connected using a single straight line. Now yes, that was all about points. So these are the 2 main topics from which questions are asked, and to find collinear or non, to find whether points are collinear or non-collinear, we will be covering later in this video series. But for now, just remember the definition of these 2 types of points, that is collinear points and non-collinear points. Now let us move on to lines. Lines, I have already told you, line is a straight ray which can be drawn on a plane. And if I go into a little bit more into the technicalities of the definition of line, then line is any figure in a space which is made up of an infinite number of points. There are infinite number of points which can be represented in a line on a plane, and these all together they make up the line, like this point, this point, this point, this point. Similarly, all these points together they make up the line. Yes. So this is our line, and if I have ends to this line, that is, let's say A and B, starting end and this finish end. So this is known as a line segment demarcated by the borders AB. So line segment AB. So in lines, the topics we need to study are intersecting lines, concurrent lines, parallel lines, we need to study about intersecting. We also need to study about perpendicular lines, and transversal lines. So these are all the topics we need to study for now, and if we encounter any different kind of a topic which I need to explain to you, then we will do so in the upcoming lectures. So for now, let us study one by one about these different types of lines. First, starting with intersecting lines. Intersecting lines, as the name suggests, any two lines which intersect each other are known as intersecting lines. Let's say I have one line L1 and another line L2. Now when will these two lines be called intersecting is that if this line L2, this line cuts this line L1 at some point, let's say O, then these two lines are known as intersecting lines. Similarly, concurrent lines. Concurrent lines is the same thing for intersecting lines, but it is there for three or more lines, that is three or more lines. Let's say I have line L1, here is my line L2, and here is my line L3, which all intersect at one point O. Then these lines are known as concurrent lines. What we need to remember here is that if this line L3, that is, if this was my L1, this was my L2, and if this was my L3, then these are not concurrent or non-concurrent lines, because they do not intersect at a single point. They intersect with line L1, that is L2 and L3, they intersect with line L1 at two different points, let's say O and O dash. So they are non-concurrent, but here it is concurrent because they are intersecting at a single point O. So I hope this is clear to you. Now let us move on to parallel lines. So parallel lines are those lines which are parallel to each other. That is to say that such lines which, no matter how long you extend them, they will never intersect with each other. Those lines are known as parallel lines. And these are straight lines which do not intersect with each other. They will never intersect. Similarly, we can have a group of parallel lines which are all parallel to each other. And if we take any plane in respect to these lines, then the angles made by each of these lines with respect to that plane will all be equal. This will also be theta. This is a parallel line L1, L2, L3, L4, and this is a plane which we are transversing this plane. Let's say this is a line which is acting as a transversal here. Let's say this is P1. So all of these lines will make a similar angle with respect to this line P1, which is a transversal line. So what is a transversal line? Any line which cuts any two points any two lines, let's say L1 and L2, and there is one line which cuts both of these lines, let's say P1. So this P1 is the transversal line. Let me draw it below here. So let's say this is my line L1, this is my line L2, this is my line L3. These are non-parallel lines, and if I have some line, let's say P1, which cuts each of these lines at A, B and C, so this P1 is the transversal line of the set of lines transversal of L1, L2 and L3. So yes, now coming on to perpendicular lines, any two lines, let's say L1 and L2, and let's say this L2, they are said to be perpendicular if this L2 intersect these lines L1 in such a way that the angle created in between them, this angle is always 90 degrees. So L1 and L2 are perpendicular to each other, and we use the symbol L1 perpendicular to L2. Similarly, for parallel lines, since all of these L1, L2, L3 and L4 are parallel to each other, we can say L1 parallel to L2, parallel to L3, parallel to L4. And based on these concepts, I hope all of these concepts, firstly I hope that all of these concepts are clear to you, and based on these concepts we have some questions which we need to answer, and I hope you'll be able to answer them. And if there is any doubt regarding any of this topic, then you are free to ask me in the comment section down below. So let us move on to some examples based on the topics that we just learned. So before moving on to the examples, let us also learn about angles and the different types of angles which are there. So angles, as I've said earlier, angles, as the name itself suggests, it is the inclination. It describes the inclination, or how much one line is tilted with respect to other line. Let's say this is my line L1 and this is my line L2, then the angle between them can be this, in this direction theta, can be this alpha, it can be this beta, and it can be this gamma. So all of these tilts which are there, which have been created, these are known as angles. Theta, alpha, beta, gamma, these are angles, and these are just the symbols which are used to represent angles. You can also write X, Y, Z, or A, B, or C, or whatever you want to write, you can write, but generally these symbols are used. So yes, these are just symbols and nothing more. So this is one angle, this is another angle, this is third angle, this is a fourth angle made when two lines intersect each other. So the definition of angle states that if we have any two points, any two lines, let's say AB, a line segment, and from the same point A we also have another line segment C. AB and AC are any two line segments, then the tilt or inclination which AC has with respect to B is called angle. So this is the angle theta created where A, this point A, acts as the vertex, and if we move from B towards C, then this is the base, and if we move from C towards B, that is in this direction, then this will be the base of the angle. So yes, this is all about angles. And coming to different types of angles, we have acute angles, we have uh, right angles, we have obtuse angle, we have straight angles, we have reflex angles, and we also have whole angles. So learning about them one by one, let's see. Acute angle means angle or theta which lies between 90 and 0. That is, let me say that this is a line segment AB and this is another line segment from the same vertex A to C. Then this theta is known as an acute angle if this theta lies between 90 to 0 degree. So let me ask you a question. Let's say that this A, B and C, and this is the angle theta. So tell me whether theta is acute or not. Pause the video and write in the comment section. So I hope that you are done with the task. Talking and then coming back to our question, I have asked you whether theta is acute or not. So if we draw a perpendicular over here, then we can clearly see that this theta exceeds this 90 degree angle, that is theta is greater than 90 degree. So this is not acute. This theta is an obtuse angle. So what is an obtuse angle then? This obtuse one. So any angle theta which is there such that theta is greater than 90 degree but less than 180 degree is known as an obtuse angle. This theta is an obtuse angle or obtuse angle. Pardon my spelling over here, I believe it is written as obtuse but I have written obtuse. So yeah, it is an obtuse angle. And right angle, as the name suggests, it is the angle of 90 degree or when two line segments are perpendicular, that is AC and AB. If these are perpendicular, then this theta is known as right angle and theta here will be 90 degree. Similarly, straight angle is a straight line, let's say A that ends AB and this is C, then this angle theta, which is equals to 180 degree, is known as a straight angle. Reflex angle. Reflex angle is that theta, it is greater than 180 degree but is less than 360 degree. So how will you draw it? A line, an angle which is greater than this and is less than this. If we see, let's say this is A, this is B, and from A we draw towards C. And now pay close attention to this diagram. If I move from C towards B and if I get theta, then this is D. We know that AD is perpendicular to let's say AC, that is AD perpendicular AC. I can just remove this R and just write AD perpendicular AC. Then we clearly see that theta is greater than 90 degrees. So theta must be an obtuse angle, and which is true, theta is an obtuse angle. So what is a reflex angle then? So what if we move from B towards C, that is in this direction, taking B as the base, AB as the base to be more precise, then we get an angle alpha which is greater than 180 degree, because the straight line would be somewhere like this towards E, and only this much will be 180 degree. So we have an angle alpha which is greater than 180 degree, but at the same time it is less than 360 degree. To write it properly, 180 less than alpha less than 360. So this alpha is our reflex angle. Some examples of reflex angles are like 270 degree, 315 degree. This is also reflex angles. We also have 195 degree. These are all reflex angles, and reflex angle, they form generally outside of a cone. And if we also look into here, since this, in this diagram also we can see that here is a 270 degree cone. So this is a reflex angle if we consider AC as the base. Similarly, here we will have a reflex angle, here also we will have a reflex angle, and here also we will have a reflex angles. So what is a reflex angle? That is angles which are greater than a straight angle 180 degree and lesser than whole angle 360 degree. So whole angles. Whole angles are those angles which have a measure of 360 degree. That is, if I start from this point, let's say AO, where A is the point, and if I circle around and come back to this point, then I would have covered a complete rotation around the axis or the point A, and this entire rotation is nothing more than 360 degree measure. So this angle theta, which is equals to 360 degree, is known as the whole angle, and it is also equal to somehow 0 degree, because if we never move from here, we would have gotten theta as 0 degree. So whole angle is 360 degree, and it is also equivalent to the position of theta is equals to 0 degree. So yes, that was all about lines and angles. So let us solve some questions and examples based on the concepts that we just learned. And if you have any doubt, then you can always ask me in the comment section. So yes, let's solve some questions based on these problems. Let's say that this is a question which was asked in SSC CHSL exam 2022. So we were given that a diagram is given. Let's say this. Here we have points A, B and C. Here we have D, X degree, and then Y degree. And if I ask you, find the measure of X plus Y, that is X degree plus Y degree, how much will it be? So for all of those who are watching the video, I would like you to pause the video and then comment down what the answer to this question will be. I hope that you are done with it, so I'll solve it for you. So as we can see that ABC here is a straight line, and straight lines, they make straight angles. So if I consider this entire angle, this would be 180 degree. So angle X plus Y, this sum would be 180 degree. We had a very specific name for this type of questions. This type of angles, these are known as supplementary angles. That is to say that the sum of any two angles, if it comes out as 180 degree, then those angles are called supplementary angles, and X is a supplement of Y, and Y is a supplementary angle of X. So remember this concept. So if we take a look to this question which was asked in SSC CHSL, so it was given that if two supplementary angles differ by 74 degree, find one of the angles, and the options you have are A 65 degree, B 55 degree, C 43 degree, and D 53 degree. So for all of those who are watching, I would like you to pause the video and then try to solve the question by yourself and then leave it down in the comment section. So I hope you have done with your task. So coming to the question, we are given that two supplementary angles. So as I told you, let's say x comma y be the two angles, and as they are supplementary, so according to question we can say that x degree plus y degree is equals to 180 degree. Further, we are also given that these angles differ by 74 degree. So x degree minus y degree is equals to 74 degree. So if I just add them up, adding, we will get, here no signs will be changed, here will be plus, here will be minus, here will be plus, because this is the action of addition. Here the signs do not change. So x plus x will give us 2x degree, plus y and minus y, they will simply cancel each other. 180 and 174, if we add them, we will get 254 degree. So 2x is equals to 254 degree. Dividing both sides by 2, we will get x degree as 127 degrees. So this is our x. Now substituting it, let's say this is equation 1 and 2, substituting it in either in equation 1 or in equation 2. Let's say we substitute it in equation number 1, that is 127 degree plus y degree is equals to 120 degree. So y will be equals to 180 minus 127 degree, which will be equals to 43 degrees. So the answer would be 43 degree, and the correct option is option number C. I hope this was clear to you. Now moving on, I'll give you one more example. Let's say that this is a line segment, angle is A and angle is B. So tell me, let me say that AD is perpendicular to BC. Then find A plus B. How much will it be? So for all of those, again pause the video and leave the answer in the comment box down below. So I hope you are done with it. Coming to the question, here, as we know that since these are perpendicular to each other, then the angle, that is this angle from AB towards AD, this theta will be 90 degree, because this is a right angle. So A plus B will sum up to give us 90 degrees. And similarly, as we had for supplementary angles, we have a similar property for this, and they are known as complementary angles. That is, when two angles are such that their sum gives us 90 degree, then those angles are known as complementary angles. Here A and B are complementary angles, with A being the complementary angle of B and B being the complementary angle of A. It was similar to what we saw above in case of x and y. So yes, this was an important concept, both of them. I hope you understood both of them. So let us do one more example. Okay, I'll write an example for you. Let's say that we have two lines. These are parallel lines, L1 and L2, L1 parallel to L2, and P P1 is some transversal which cuts it at point O and O dash. So if we have this angle as, let's say, 60 degree, and this just a minute, and this angle is X, and yes, and this angle is Y. So find X plus Y. So again, for all of those who are watching, please pause the video and drop your answer down in the comment section. I hope you are done with it. So let's get back to the question. Here, if we consider this line L1, and this transverse line P1, which is intersecting at point O dash, then this angle is 60 degree and this is given as X. You know that since L1 is a straight line, so this entire angle, that is angle L1 O dash P1 plus there is no point over here, so I cannot write it in this way. Since this is a line, then this entire theta would be 180 degree. So from here we can say that 60 degree plus X would be 180 degree, implies that X would be 120 degree. So this X is 120 degree. So what about this Y then? If you remember, when I was explaining parallel lines to you, I have told you that if these lines are parallel and there is some transversal line over here, then these angles are equal to each other, and these angles which are equal to each other are known as corresponding angles, because they are present on corresponding sides, corresponding lines which are parallel to each other. So using the same concept over here, these 60 degree and Y, this should be equals to each other because they are corresponding angles. And that is Y will be equals to 60 degree. So X plus Y will give us 120 plus 60, it will give us 180 degree, and this is the answer. So yes, I hope you understood it, and if you did not, please let me know in the comment section. So I believe that that was all for today, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and if so, then please drop us any suggestions which can be utilized to improve the experience which you are having, and please help us by sharing and and by subscribing to this channel. And also, if you want to learn anything about any such topic, then you can suggest me by writing down in the comment section. And thank you for watching. Yes, and if you have any doubt, please feel free to ask. And that was all for today. Thank you.